Okay, I'm having one of those blah days where I just don't know what to do, so I think I'm going to make a simple collage. The simplest collage you can make. So if you haven't done collage before, this is a great way to get started. I did a border on this, and this one I didn't gel print, I just painted this. But I keep this little basket here of little parts that I have cut into circles and squares and these little vases. And this one I cut, let's see if I can find the one that matches. I just cut a bunch of circles, put them together, glued them together, and then cut it apart, you can see. But mostly this is full of circles and squares that I use for, sometimes I make those mosaic collage that looks kind of like, well, it looks just like a quilt. And sometimes I make these with the flowers, and I'll show you a couple. But see, I have some, when I'm sitting there bored, I'll cut up vases. And then I'll cut up circles and squares to make the flowers with. This one I cut two different up, and I didn't like them because the black was too plain, so I glued them together. And it made this lovely decorative vase. There's another one. So we'll take those out. And I'll show you. These aren't totally finished because I have more drawing work to do on it, and then I have to put a matte. I don't think I'll use the gel, but I'll matte medium over the top of it. Sometimes I use the gel medium. We'll lay that flat so you can see that. But see, these are all papers that were printed on my gel plate. Except for the little black, of course. That's just black cardstock. And you can make cards with them. I really like this. But see, I just basically did the outline on the leaves in that. I'm not finished with them yet. I'm going to take them inside and do some more drawing on them. But this is another one. This is a gel print background. And the tablecloth is gel print. So, and I'm going to do something on this one. On this background. I might put more than one vase on it. I haven't decided. I wanted to do this because I did this disastrous gel print, but when I looked at it, it looks just like a 1940s vase for some reason to me. And then this one too, which is nice. So I haven't decided. What I do is I'll get the background out and I'll lay them out and try and decide if I want to do more than one thing on there. If I'm using this, though, I think that's probably all I want to use. And then I have to have some kind of strip that looks like a tablecloth at the bottom, which I'll find. But let me show you how, this is pretty obvious. You just fold your paper and draw out your design. Fold your paper in half down the middle of the design you've drawn. Let me show you real quick. So you can make a nice symmetrical. The stuff on the other side is no good. So I decided I wanted to do the vase like this. Well, maybe I'll do it a little fancier. Maybe come in right here and come out. And come in right here and come out. And you know how hard that is to get right. So what I do is I just fold it down the middle. Check and see which side I like best. Probably this side. It looks like a guitar. And then cut it out that way. So now I have a nice symmetrical vase. I might make that a little bit skinnier at the lip though. And then you just cut this out if you're, there you have a nice, well, let me flatten the bottom just a little bit more. A nice symmetrical vase, whatever. So that's how I did all of these that I did, and I'll show you now how I did the flowers. Flowers are pretty simple. You just get a circle. Well, actually, you can do it from a square if you want. Let's say I want to do this one here. And you've done this when you were a kid. Fold it in half, fold it in half again, depending on how many petals you want. I'm going to fold it one more time. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit fancy. I'm going to come from the middle and make a scoop out either side. Make a little fancy petal. I'll have a little point to it. All right. See, make sure that's what you want. That's what I want. Now on the sides here, I'm going to curve it in and cut down probably ½ inch, leaving ½ inch connected. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to cut that pointy off and cut down to, see, and I'm cutting down and then I'm coming out a little. See how I did that? Probably show you on a bigger circle, but I don't have any bigger circles. I don't know, I used them all up. I have one that in the house that I did that was a huge flowers, so that's probably where I used all my circles. Now you can see how pretty that is. Now what I usually do is I'll get a smaller circle, something that contrasts, even if it's just out of black paper. Well, this is a wicked contrast. Probably not very pretty, but it'll show up better. And same thing. Now you don't have to fold it the same amount of times. Sometimes I just fold it a couple times. Now in this one I'm just going to cut. I'm just going to come from the bottom about a ½ inch and come up around the top and round it around the top. And I'll come around the corner, go back down the other side to about ½ inch so it has a good connection. And this will be the middle of that flower. And then I would just do a circle for the next one. There you go. There's your flower. And I don't know if I have a tiny circle, but if I did, I would put it, or I could put a bigger one in there. And then you just glue that together. Just Elmer's glue, and I use the, you know the cards they send you in the mail? This one's from Methodist Hospital. I just use this, and I'll get a sheet that I don't mind messing up, like wax paper. And I will lay this down, put the glue on, make sure it glues all the way across, and then put it on there. And I'll probably show you that later when I put it together. But that's what I'm going to do for the flowers. And that's how I made all of these flowers. As you can see, they're cut to each layer is cut differently. And these I went in and I highlighted with the edges of them with my ink pad. I just used I don't know what this one is, but I just used my ink pad to highlight the edges, as I've showed you before on other things. But anyway, that's what I'm doing today. And I'll come back and show you when I got it almost together. Okay, you shut off my air conditioner. Okay, as you can see, I've got flowers mostly cut out. I got to do something with the middle of that one, but I cut out all the leaf shapes out of various printed pages. And I had to make a decision on the tablecloth. I was actually going to use this for the tablecloth, but that I think that's too much of the green. So what I decided was do a pop of color down here. And what I'm going to do, and I'll show you, is I'm going to take these strips of hot colors. I'm going to take one that's real orange, one that's pretty yellow, and put another orange on the other side of it. I'll probably do these three right here. And I'm going to use this, I have a bunch of these reds, to weave. And I have to put a picture here so I can see how big I All right, it's just long enough if I weave this together. So what I usually do is, let me get my gel medium. I usually stick it together with gel medium. And I'm just going to get a little bit of it with, pardon my reach, with my Q-tip. And I'm going to start weaving this on this end. Oh, I need some more gel medium. I'll just stick it down. Now when you're finished with it, you're going to put a coating over it. So this is just, after I get done with this, I'm going to stick it all down to the page. So this is just to stick it while I'm weaving so it doesn't move too much. And I'm hoping it will look like a patterned tablecloth when I'm done. You got to make sure you don't do what I just did, and it's got to be nicely lined up so you don't have a big gap. A little gap is not too bad, but, and I'll just cut this end off. And once you start, it gets a little more solid. Now, this is going underneath, so I'll put some on there. Lift that up and slide it down nice and tight, making sure it's lined up nicely and go in the right direction. That's going to go under this one, and I'm not going to worry about gluing that part right now. Well, I guess I can. Just a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to go along and do this all the way down. Keep cutting off the end and reusing it. So the next one, of course, will go on top. So the easiest way to do it, since you'll have two places to glue, is to put it in first. Get that lifted up all the way, push it all the way over. There we go, all the way over. And you can glue it down. Just need a dab. But you see how that's looking like a pattern? Like it could be well, what it's supposed to be looking like is a tablecloth with patterns. But anyways, I'm going to finish this. I'll finish weaving it, and then I'll cut it to fit. And I'll come back and show you. And we'll start putting it down on the paper. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed it up a little bit. I always do that as I'm working. I changed the flowers around to ones that I had already made up for something else because I wanted something a little lighter than what I had. Those were a little too heavy. So right now, I've got the tablecloth done. And I'm going to start gluing it down. I'll show you the start of it, and then I'll show you when I'm finished. You start in the background, so the things that are going to be in the back are going to be this greenery and this tablecloth. So the first thing I'm going to do, I get a stiff, somewhat stiff brush, and I'm going to put the tablecloth down. Right now I'm using gloss gel medium, which for me works the best. And I'm going to put it on both surfaces. Concentrate on getting the edges done in a good amount, but I don't want it to be, thick anywhere that it bunches the paper up. I want to get I don't know if you can't see this, can you? All right, let me move it up a little. All I'm doing is spreading it on there. I'm getting a good amount. It's warm out here right now, so I have to hurry with this. And I'm going to do the surface of the picture. Now anything that comes up, you can stick it back down, so it's not a tragedy if you don't get it the first time. You just want to make sure you get the middle good, because you can't come back and get that. The edges are what usually come up, and you can go back and get that. So I'm going to very carefully stick this down. Now I have pencil marks, so I know where it's going. And because this is woven, I got to be careful because of the weaving, but I'm going to use this credit card. Well, it's not really a credit card. It's one of those things you get in the mail. They use the nice cardboard, which I really appreciate. Those mailers that always tell you you can win this or win that. And you don't win a darn thing. You just... Oop, there's a hair. But I'm pushing out towards the edges, trying to get any thick stuff to... Now see, I've got that down nice. Now what I have to do, because these leaves, I have to lay the leaves out and measure to make sure they come behind this pot. So now I have to find out where I want the pot. Right about there. And I'm going to take a pencil and make a very light line. A very light line. Where this top is. And so that I know where those have to go. Those have to go behind where I put that line. Let me make sure it's right. And see, all these stems and stuff, they have to come out this way, but they have to be behind that pot because the pot's going to be over them. So now I'm going to arrange them and glue them down, and I do it the same way. I go one at a time. That's how I'm going to do it, one at a time, and I use the brush to brush the glue on them. So, can you see that? I'm having trouble today because it's such a big piece of paper. But see how I marked along the... So that now everything's going to tuck right in there once I get it arranged. I'll do them one at a time. And now I know where the pot's going to go once I'm done. And then all I'll have to do is put the flowers down. I don't think I'm going to worry about stems for the flowers because there's so much greenery. It really... I can draw them in later, or maybe I might go back and do them, but right now I'm not going to worry about that. Right now I'm going to just glue the stems down, the leaves down, and the flowers down, and I'll be back when I'm done with that. Okay, so this is the finished product. I've got all of it glued down. I'm going to show you real quick how to glue down the flowers, because it dawned on me that that's a little bit tricky. I'm going to use a sheet of, this is what I lay things down to glue, a sheet of deli paper. And I'll show you with one of these flowers. This is about what it was. Now what I did was I glued the sections together first, like this. I would glue, if I was putting these two together, I would put glue on that, put a little bit of glue on the middle. Now you never know where it's going to meet up on the petals, so I don't worry about the petals. But I get this one totally glued and put it right in the middle where it's going to go. Press it down. I use those cards to press it from the middle out. So make sure middle, and then I would put a circle thing in the middle of that. You know, I would glue another one in there, but now I'll show you how we do it when it's to glue down on the paper. I'll use this paper. Alright, so you turn it over face down. Now you start in the middle and glue, and because I've got this paper here, I can go all the way over those petals. You want the petals pretty much saturated. So you don't need a thick, you just need a wet coating of glue. Now you can use Elmer's glue to do this. I don't know. I just got used to using this from when I used to do collagraphs. That's what we used. Alright, now you have to pry it up. very gently, very gently. That's why I like to have flowers that are more than one layer. It's easier to move it once that other layer. Now I put the card under there, slide it under there to help me. I'll gently pull it up off this paper, and if this is the paper I'm going to be putting it down on, and just lay it out gently where it's going to be. Make sure you get all the petals down. And same thing with the card. Start from the middle and go out. You can't see very much on that green, but see, it lays nice and flat. Let me get it up there where you can see. See how nice and flat it is? There's no wrinkles, no buckles. Well, there's a little wrinkle there, and I just got it out. But that's how you do the flowers. You can see how they're done. Now, when this is totally dry, I can see like there's a petal here that needs to be, but I'm going to wait till it's totally dry and then go back and secure those petals down a little bit better. And then when it's totally dry and everything's stuck down nice and I'm satisfied, I'm going to go over it with matte medium. A gel medium or a regular matte medium, it doesn't matter. I'll probably go over with the regular matte medium and coat the whole thing and let that dry, and then I'll let that dry a few days, and when then that's dry, I'm going to put it between books to get it nice and flat, because you can see it's already wanting to curve a little. I don't know if you can see that. It's already wanting to curve a little, but I'm not going to worry about it until I'm totally done. And then when it's done and finished and coated with medium, I will probably do just a little bit of pen or pencil work on it, because I always do that. But and then it'll be finished. Thank you for viewing my video. I hope you enjoy it. These are the kind of things I do when I can't think of anything else to do. I'll do a simple collage. Nothing complicated. If you like my video, please give me a like. Subscribe if you want to see more, and you have a nice day.